In this sailing Doodles, we have engine failure as we attempt to round the treacherous Cape Hatteras. This season of Sailing Doodles features Taylor and Bobby as we set sail with Maverick and Goose for the Caribbean. We were still making our way south out of the Chesapeake, and this day's destination was Hampton, Virginia.
So what's the plan today?
Same thing we do every day, sail south where it's warm. The dogs are already in their position.
Hey, buddy? What about you, Maverick?
All right, another half mile or so and we'll turn into the wind and put sails up.
So we got the sails up and there is still crap coming out of them. This just came out. Bye-bye.
We got our sails with the holes in them up and we're still doing 7 knots, 7.2 currently, doing all right. We'll make good time today, I hope. We had about 58 miles to run all told today, so that should make that in good time, I hope. Hopefully the wind will keep up. It's forecast to slacken off a bit this afternoon, but we'll make it while we got it. So it's good for the next 3 or 4 hours, but doing 7.2. Well, we were able to sail for the first half of the day, made good way, and then about noon the wind just dropped off to nothing. So we are motoring now. We only have about, I don't know, 10 miles to go till Hampton, which is right across the bay from Norfolk. Spend a couple days there and then head down the coast around Cape Hatteras and south, headed one step closer to the Bahamas. It was a pleasant and easy motor into Hampton the rest of the way. So Taylor was nice enough to take the dogs for a walk this morning. Maverick made it back on the boat just fine. Hey Maverick, how are you? Although now we seem to have wet dog.
And a wet Taylor. Hey, buddy. You gonna be okay?
How you doing, Goose? You all right, man? You look okay.
Went for a little swim. You cooled down. Hey?
Yeah.
We're still working the kinks out on our loading system, but it seems to be working all right. We are getting ready to leave on our first ocean going passage in this boat. We're in Hampton, Virginia right now. We're gonna head out and then down around Cape Hatteras and south to Beaufort, maybe Charleston if we're liking things out there, if the weather stays good. We have a little weather window to at least get to Beaufort, and then after that we'll see. We're leaving about midday because I think that'll let us cross Cape Hatteras about morning tomorrow. I'd rather just do that during the daytime. So that means it's going to be like a 30-hour sail for the dogs. So I already have their little grass mat set up. Basically, it's just a pretty realistic grass rug, basically. And I cut it to shape there, and I zip tied it down in all the different spots. And I've actually collected some dog urine. This is a cup of dog urine. You can probably guess how I collected it. And yes, I did get some on my hands while doing that, but you know, I love my dogs. So what I'm gonna do with that is I'm gonna put it in a more permanent, like an old water bottle or something. And then, you know, maybe in the afternoon when it's about time for them to pee or something, I'll put it on the mat and see if they will go again on it. We'll see. Cape Hatteras can be quite treacherous, is an absolute graveyard for ships. The strong Gulf Stream current pushes the water north, which can build seas very tall and very close together. The warm water in the Gulf Stream meets cold water coming from the north, and storms can pop up in a matter of minutes. All right, we got all the water tanks full, we got enough diesel, we're untying lines right now. We're gonna get out of here. You ready to go, Taylor?
Yep.
The mouth of the Chesapeake is a very busy area with lots of commercial ships and Navy ships. Alright, that is Cape Henry right there. So we are about to cross into the Atlantic Ocean. What do you think?
Super excited.
Yeah, is this your first time actually sailing on an ocean?
Yes.
Well, the Great Lakes are pretty big. You've done that.
Yes.
So. But
this is real ocean sailing now.
yeah.
Not just in the Chesapeake.
Yeah, it's forecast to be, you know, waves 4 feet, 15 knots of wind. So down following seas, or actually they'll be slightly off our beam for now, and then when we turn around, turn on the Cape, they'll be following seas. So it should be a pretty nice little ride, hopefully the whole way.
Awesome.
The dogs are settled in nicely. This is pretty much all they do all day, just sleep.
It was a beautiful sunset, but as soon as it dipped below the horizon, we had problems.
Well, we were motor sailing right along, and the engine started surging. Sounded to me fuel, and then the engine shut down. I've already replaced, this thing has so many fuel filters on it, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm not sure. Some of them might go to the generator, some of them, I don't know. So basically I'm just replacing every filter, and like some of the, look at that, that's not red wine, that was fuel that came out of one of the filters. So there's definitely, I should have changed all the filters before we left. I mean, how long, who knows how long the fuel's been sitting in that tank, over 2 years, so a lot of crap in there. I'll probably have to replace the filters fairly often for a while until all those fuel tanks get done. So hopefully this works. If it doesn't work, we're going to turn around and head back, because we're only, what, 6 or 7 hours in, and it would be 30 hours plus to get down there. And then we can't even get work there. Charleston would be, yeah, so we might as well go back if we can't get it working. The great thing about this engine, it's got like this automatic priming pump, so you don't have to sit there and pump it. You just open the valves on that, turn on the little pump, and it fills them. So it should be primed. Change the filters. Let's try it. It may take a second. Still got to get all the air out of the system. All right.
That sounded better.
It sounds better. Let's hope that's what it was. Well, the dogs are having their morning snack. It was an uneventful night. We got the motor started again. My fault. I should have just changed the filters before we left. Or who knows? Actually, I mean they were going to clog up anyway, right? Because who knows how bad that fuel is. It's been sitting there. Anyway, I got it working again. It ran fine the rest of the night. So we're about to round Cape Hatteras, about 8 miles from the Cape, and hopefully the Gulf Stream is a little bit offshore, because that's part of the problem with the Cape, is that the Gulf Stream can come really close to the Cape, and there's a lot of shoals coming out there, so you have to kind of go out pretty far, and then you turn south. Well, the Gulf Stream comes north, and if there's a north wind, which there is right now, there's 10 knots of wind. That's why we're motor sailing. It's pretty light to just be motoring downwind. You know, seas can build up on each other, but 10 knots is pretty light, so it shouldn't be that bad. And hopefully the Gulf Stream is at least a couple miles offshore, and we should be okay. But because the waves just pile up against the wind, and they get really steep and short. But I think we'll be okay. It's not bad right now. It's like 3-4 foot seas, and it was calling for even 4 and 5 footers, so it's should be okay. Well, we rounded the Cape, no problem at all. Pretty much what you see now is how the Cape was, so no big deal. We're dead downwind now, so I've got wing on wing. I got the mizzen sail off the starboard and the main off the port. I tried having the Genoa out to starboard as well, but it just wouldn't stay full. So just motor sailing dead downwind. There's only like 8-9 knots, 10 knots of wind tops. But I mean, when you're dead downwind, we don't have a spinnaker yet. That'd be great. If we had a spinnaker 10 knots, man, we'd be good. I'd put the spinnaker up, probably the mizzen, and call it a day. We'd just be hauling butt. But we'll get one, you know, we'll get one eventually before we, I don't know, we'll get one sometime. Well, we've had one successful peer on the mat out there. Maverick down there, he's never shy about it. So Goose here though, it's been over 24 hours now and he has not done it. I know he's miserable, but I've been walking him out there as much as like at least once an hour, but I just want to do it. He'll do it eventually though. Anyway, so we've been having a nice sail this afternoon, but we're only making about 5 knots and we want to get there tonight. So we're gonna turn on the motor and motor sail. Hey, buddy. I think we've decided to get netting and put it all around like we have on the rough seas. I think it'll make them feel a little more secure. Just having something taller than them holding them in, I think that'll help. So, Goose still hasn't peed, but we're 2.5 hours from our anchorage for the night, so hopefully he'll get some relief soon. Makes me, yeah, I know, it is a nice sunset. Oh yeah, look at that.